Welcome to the Monday Monologue. This week I want to talk about why do we DIY and what's the purpose in it. I think there's multiple reasons that we all like doing stuff like this, building things ourselves. Part of it to me is working with your hands and just, being able to see yourself create things from just raw materials. Getting some metal or some wood or a bare chassis or at least a partially bare one and making something out of it that didn't exist before. But there also needs to be the quality to price reasoning there. If you can go out and buy something for less money that's higher quality and sounds better than what you're paying more money for to do it yourself, then that stops making sense to me. And so a great example of this was the 300B amp that I DIY'd, show y'all how to build, versus the Bouygues Range 850 that you can buy off Amazon. They cost the same money. You can go buy that Bouygues Range amp already built, and it's the same money as all the parts cost for the DIY build. But I showed y'all in that case, the DIY amp is much better. It's got more bass, it's got more punch, I think it looks better, and it's got higher quality parts in it that we know are legit, real parts that will last for a long time. So that's an example of where DIY makes sense. Plus, that Bouygues Range amp, you pay the same money for it, then you got to take it apart and rewire the whole thing to get it to work even 80% of what the DIY amp does, and it's still not there. And you're going to have, by the time you replace the tubes and stuff, you're going to have $1,300, $1,400 in it, where the DIY amp is $900, $950 if you shop carefully. So that's an example of why DIY works and how it can really be advantageous. The other thing too is when you build it yourself, you know how it works. If there's a problem later on, you can repair it. When you buy a pre-made product, there may or may not be a schematic for it. You may not be that familiar with how it all works, and so there's another disadvantage to buying a pre-made product. Now, like this little preamp, Zero Zone sells this already built that you can plug in. It's got some garbage tubes, got questionable coupling caps and some other stuff, but it's $250. Don't have to do any fab work. It's ready to go. And, it might make sense for some people to buy that one and then unsolder the caps, put some different ones in, get some better tubes. You probably end up $350 or so all in on it, where I haven't added up all the parts yet that I spent buying this, but buying known good parts, starting out with a chassis that I like better, that fits my little stereo setup. I've got an area where this will fit where a wide one wouldn't. So you can custom tailor it to your application. Plus, I'm going to wire this one with a sub out, which the Zero Zone doesn't. So that's the kind of stuff for DIY, even if it was the same money, makes sense. So anyway, I just thought that would be a little thing I could cover today in the Monday Monologue. The second part I want to cover is the community feature on YouTube. It's something, hey, I'm new to YouTube. I don't know how many other channels really make use of the community part. I don't know if that's something that you guys want to participate in. The other thing I could do was set up a kind of limited forum at my website. I'm doing it more, I think, having some venue to show and tell, where like if y'all build some of the projects that I have on my channel, or you've built a cool amplifier that you're proud of, or some DIY speaker project, or you know what I'm saying, just some fun stuff. It would be cool if we could, kind of show and tell and just, make it real light. Don't get real deep and argumentative and stuff. There's plenty of, there's the DIY hi-fi forum, there's Audio Karma, there's other places where if you want to debate the physics of tubes and, talk a bunch about math and engineering and stuff, there's plenty of places online to do that. But I thought it might be fun just as channel users to have a place where we could kind of do a show and tell thing, and I think it would just be fun. I would enjoy seeing what y'all are building. I mean, y'all see what I'm doing, and I don't get to see what y'all are doing. And so, anyway, you could leave in the comments whether you think some kind of a little just basic show and tell kind of forum where you could upload some pictures and a little description of their stuff, and we can kind of cheer each other on and be positive. And there's like I said, there's plenty of places online to be argumentative and for people to try to show how smart they are. I don't want to do a forum for that. So let me know what you think about that. The next thing is I have a poll in my community tab right now. And you go to my channel and then go over to community and you'll see the poll. 3 options for the next thing after the 6SQ7 build. We've got the line stage preamplifier. We've got the DIY speaker. I built one. This is what they look like. Not going to go into any kind of spoiler thing, but really neat looking speaker. And I think that this DIY build on this would apply to any of these MDF flat pack kind of speaker kits that are out there, and to show you how to build them and what kind of tools you need to finish them so they look like this, or there's less tools where you could make them where they're more squared off looking and stuff. So we could do this. And the other thing is tube buffers. These go between a source and a solid state amplifier to introduce some of the tube sound roundness that we all love from our tube amps without having to like get into the full tube thing, and give some people just like a little taste for tubes. I've got 2 different ones here that I'm going to be playing with. This one seems like a more real tube thing. Can't remember the tubes that are in this, but it actually has like 200 volts and then heater voltage, and I think this is like really doing some sort of amplification or buffering, or don't know yet. Haven't really looked at the schematic. And then here's the little $15 tube thing that you see on, these are what the little ones you see on Amazon for less than $100. This was on eBay for 15 bucks. It runs off a wall wart with 12 volts. How that does anything, I don't know. And that's what I want to investigate. I want to dig into this thing and see what it actually does, if anything. Or is all it doing is making the tube heaters glow? And so, anyway, this could be another little project. So we have 2 buffers, we have the line stage preamp, which is what I'm voting for, and then the DIY speaker build. The last thing I want to touch on is I'm just not real sure about the format that I did on the 6SQ7 amp. I know a lot of folks were asking about, to do the super detailed like I did on the preamp. And honestly, guys, they're not getting a ton of views, and the views seem to kind of be tapering off. And we've already got 21 videos, and there's probably going to be 10 more finishing at this pace. I'm just not sure that that's really good for anybody. I'm getting kind of burnt out. I think y'all are getting kind of burnt out. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one like this. But I think going forward, I'm going to go more back to the format like I did on my 6BM8 and the 300B amp, where I'm kind of showing y'all generally what I'm doing, and then I do a lot of the soldering assembly work off camera, and then come back and say, okay, here's what it looks like when you're done, kind of a thing, and zip, 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 and get through it pretty quick. And then if anybody's really asking about details of stuff, I can just say, go watch the 6SQ7 amp build. There's all your details. So we've probably gone over my normal Monday monologue limit, but there was a few things that I wanted to kind of toss out there. The main thing, go do the poll. We have 45 votes right now. This is winning. If you want to see this or this, go vote. If you really want to see this, go jack up the ballot box and push this forward. And that's what we'll build. Hopefully I can get this 6SQ7 amp done fairly quickly. Again, I want to keep doing it the way I've been doing it. And then in the future, probably do a little bit different format. So anyway, thank all y'all for subscribing to my channel. Really inspires me to keep doing this. The comments I got on last week's Monday monologue was really uplifting. And it's really helped me kind of ignore a few of the people that, you know what I'm talking about. So, thanks for subbing to my channel. If you haven't yet, please click the button. Doesn't cost you a dime. Helps me a ton. Helps get my videos out there so more people can see them. Like the video, that also helps. And we'll see you next week for another version of the Monday Monologue.